Hey, yo, shalom. All praises to the Most High. Yo, Yehoshua, this is Sounds from YYBY. All right, multi-band limiter versus a multi-band compressor. I mean, we already know what a limiter and a compressor do with each other, the difference they do. So, so it's the same process or the same thing with a multi-band compressor and a multi-band limiter, right? But sometimes we don't realize the difference of them when you comparing them at the same time. So what I did is that, but first I want to say that the difference, for those who don't know, the difference of a multi-band and a multi-band limiter and a multi-band compressor. The main difference between a multi-band compressor and a multi-band limiter is the compressor, it will reduce the amount. It will reduce the amount of the signal exceeding the threshold, right? That's what the compressor would do. That exceeding the threshold, and the limiter will not let any signal trespass, right? Come right past it and everything. So we know what the multi-bands is for, right? But now, the reason I'm talking about this is because you have some people who say don't put it on vocals as much, and then you have some say only put it on vocals when you have a serious problem, right? And me, truthfully, I think vocals is always a problem. I think vocals are always a problem. Why? Because I recorded so many artists, and a lot of artists are not consistent with the singing or rapping. They're not consistent all the way through the whole verse. So you rarely find some that, if you got 20 of them, probably 18 that's not consistent. Sometimes they get weak in certain parts. Sometimes they get loud in certain parts. Sometimes certain parts are louder, like I say, and some parts are lower or weaker, whatever you want to call it. And, when you just go put a regular compressor on top of that, the compressor will compress it properly, but it won't control every detail because the vocals are not consistent. Okay. The vocals are not consistent. So if they're not consistent, the compressor is only going to hit and touch what, that it reads that's consistent, or that's kind of like going over a certain threshold. So the certain parts won't be controlled as much. Right. And so a lot of the time that's what causes people to go use another compressor, or they go do automation, which is too much extra. I'm not saying don't do it or you can't do it, but if that's your last result, then yes, do it. But you using automation, like why? So when you got a compressor, multi-band compressor or a multi-band limiter, that's my point. So me personally, now that's my first thing I use on vocals now. That's my first thing I use on vocals now. It's not a thought in my mind. That's what I use first. I don't go to a regular compressor no more. Hell, like sometimes I put a multi-band compressor on it, and then, maybe EQ it before that or EQ it after, then come back with a one band compressor, kind of like squeeze it together. Cause the multi-band, it separates the frequencies where you can control each frequency. And then on top of that, sometimes it seems like it or they feel like it when I'm listening to it. You put that extra compressor, that one band compressor behind it. Now it grabs what you already control it and it squeezes it together. Especially when you put that that compressor, that one band compressor on the bus track. When you put that on the bus track, when you multi-band your vocals and then you group those tracks and then you put it on the bus track, so. It's no rules to this, but me personally, I'm the multi-band guy now more than ever on vocals now, because I come to realization that, man, vocals is never consistent, man, never consistent. And sometimes you got certain instruments that's not consistent in certain frequencies, man, and just putting a one band compressor or one band EQ, not one band EQ, but a one band compressor don't always control all the frequencies properly. So you really have to do a lot of automation or, stuff like that, or, just all the extra stuff sometimes that, you shouldn't have to. But okay, now, so what I'm going to do, I'm not about to go into details as far as like how to tweak it and my settings. Only thing I did is that I focused on trying to get the best settings for vocals on the multi-band limiter and the multi-band compressor. That's all I did. I actually used a preset on there, then I tweaked it a little bit. That's all I did. So, but I just want you to hear these, how they both approach those vocals that I got right here. So these are the vocals just by themselves. That's it. Right? So that's what we playing with right there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn on the multi-band limiter. Oh yeah, these two limiters, these plugins I got right here, you can get these joints from RE. They on RE. Rack extensions, they are great. You know, they made by the same company. You can go in there and get them and everything. And I forgot what's the name of this company, man. Do I have it on here? But they definitely on RE. That's a fact. And they sound great. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn on the multi-band limiter. Let's play it back one more time with you know, this raw. It's not raw, got it reverb on it, but no dynamics. So let's turn on the multi-band limiter. I bring it down some. All right, you see, and you can see in the signal right here, it's only showing the mid and the high. Now, matter of fact, I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna click on the track and press F2. These are the frequencies of the vocals with nothing on it. That's the frequencies right there, with nothing rolled off, nothing rolled off on the lows or the highs. It's just regular. That's the frequencies as you see. So now when you look at this multi-band, the multi-band only dealing with the mid and the high. Like automatically it's only dealing with the low and the high, you know. Regardless if you bring up this bass part, you won't hear nothing. Like it won't do nothing. You hear all that extra noise and artifacts with raising it up, but that's about it. And the reason why I say this is because when you go to the multi-band, listen to this. You get what I'm saying? So now let's go back to, let's cut the multi-band off and turn on the multi-band limiter. Even though this don't have a spectrum, but it's not affecting the lows at all on the multi-band. But when you go to the multi-band compressor, on the multi-band compressor, you can see a little. It's affecting the bass line. It's reading the bass line a little bit, the bass of the vocals. And you can also hear like the little fat of the bass inside of the multi-band. All right, let's turn this off. Let's turn both plugins off. Let's play the regular one. All right, let's turn the limiter on. You go up and down. So it's because I'm not gonna tell you how to tweak it, because at the end of the day, we know about that. We watched 99,000 videos. I just want y'all to hear the difference, of just, basic settings of the vocals. Because what I did, I listened to the vocals and I went to the most close, sound where I know it's being controlled. It's controlling those frequencies. Because when she's going up on her vocals, so check this out. right? And it show you where it's dropping it the most. It show you where it's not where it's knocking it down. Because again, that's where the most of the frequencies at. If you go right here, exactly right here, you can see the multiband limiter in the background. So now let's go back to the multiband compressor. And y'all hear the difference. Now, what I want y'all to do is tell me which one sound better, which one don't sound good, or what's the difference you hear in each one of them, and I think this is a great tool for vocals, man. Definitely, any instrument, to be honest with you, especially when you don't want to deal with the one band, because the one band don't always have the full control. Still use the one band, definitely, if you want to bring the one band behind it, later on down the chain, or you want to put it inside the bus. But I say, man, this is my go-to first when I first start hitting vocals, because like I say, vocals never, the frequencies is always all over the place. Artists are never consistent with their vocals, man. There's always some low, some jumpy, some pitchy, everywhere when you play it back. So a one band will always, it's not the one quitter hitter. Even the times that I have, used the one bands and tweaked it for years, it's still always a part that I'll be like, hey, it's just not, I hear what it's doing. But when I put that multi-band on there, that limiter or that compressor, it shuts all that down. So this is YYBY. Peace.